I know their first and last names. Like Kevin Costner, Field of Dreams, he's Ray Kinsella.
Yeah, that's famous.
Yeah. So is Jack Dawson.
What about Victor Newman? He's in Titanic.
Oh yeah, everyone. Yeah, Victor Newman's in Titanic.
Victor Newman. If you didn't know his name, you will know it when I leave this room.
I forgot you did.
It's my Eric Braden.
I forgot you did a good Victor Newman.
I used to do it in the late 70s. This guy kept running for mayor for Pittsburgh. His name was Pete Flaherty, and his commercials were always on. Hi, I'm Pete Flaherty, and this is what I can bring to Pittsburgh if you elect me. And it just was so.
You know Ray Liotta's character in Goodfellas?
Oh, Goodfellas. Henry somebody. That's a true story. He's Henry Hill.
Henry Hill, yeah. Henry Hill died like 10 years ago.
I always thought, why wasn't he Italian? Ray Liotta's so Italian.
His mother was. His dad wasn't.
You know what Ray Liotta's last movie was before he died?
Cocaine Bear.
Cocaine Bear. It was on TV over the weekend. I was like, I love this movie. But there was football. Hello again, everybody, and welcome to Week 10 of the High School Football Preview Show on YouTube, Facebook, and Public Access Channel 13, which is on Wednesdays at 5:30 for those of you who have Breezeline Cable. This is the Altoona Mayor High School Football Preview Show with Mike Boytim, Andy Stine, Dan Eisenberg behind the camera over there. My name is Scott Franca, and before we get into we got some games here that are pretty cool to talk about. You might notice the people who do the set design, the behind-the-scenes people right there, there's a helmet that should be there, but I don't know what we should put there. But I think I do because we got something.
That's right.
I'll let Michael be closer to them.
Juniata Valley. And they even have the Williamsburg sticker on there for the co-op. It says, "We are one."
Yeah.
Coach Busser brought this up to us.
So they play Windber this week, so we got a matchup.
Geez, and our helmets, if you can ever want to have Dan do a behind-the-scenes thing, our helmet collection's building up. But there's still some schools we don't have. Yeah. And if I'm going to call out Tyrone. We don't have a Tyrone helmet. We don't have an Altoona helmet.
We actually really might need some storage space for the helmets, though.
Maybe somebody out there would build us a cabinet that we could put helmets in. But yeah, we don't have a Tyrone helmet. We don't have an Altoona helmet. Yeah. I can pick on some other schools. I don't know who else. Do we have a Central Cambria helmet?
No Central Cambria.
And
Shane McGregor, come on, friend of the show. Bring us one down.
Good people up there. But anyways, we're going to get right into our show here. The first game we're going to talk about is Windber 5-3 at Juniata Valley 7-2. Windber I think they won coming off a win. I don't want to. No,
they lost. Windber's in a little bit of a slump, and obviously they have some things going on there with Coach Grohall. This is going to be his last season at Windber. They've been struggling a little bit down the stretch. Now they're locked into the 2-3 game in District 5 1A, so they're going to play Kah'Mani Township in the semifinals. It's just a question of whether they're going to be hosting or whether Kah'Mani Township's going to be hosting. So if they want to host that game, this is an important game for them. But Windber's have been up and down this year, and it's a young team, and they've obviously dealt with some controversy. They had some players missing some games. The coach was out for a game or two there, and this is an opportunity for Juniata Valley to kind of pounce maybe, because Juniata Valley has struggled against teams like Windber in the past. So this is a great chance for Juniata Valley. And Juniata Valley right now is the number 2 seed in District 6 Class 1A. So if they win this game, they will hang on to that, and they will be able to be at home up until the district championship.
They don't have to play BG till the final.
Well, that
BG's and everyone.
if BG advances,
I will say the Juniata Valley wants to play them in the district championship. Anyways,
but Juniata Valley, they're number 2 right now, and if they win this game, they can stay there.
Now, as far as the Windber stuff that's going on, the behind the scenes stuff, they did. How hard do you think that is for those kids? Because I mean, this happens in college and the pros, and you think they're a little bit. These are high school kids that,
Yeah, it would be hard on anybody, I would think, but especially for high school kids. And coaches always preach all the time that they want to limit the distractions as much as they can. And right now, I don't know if that's possible for Windber because of how bad it got. But that's not a fun time for Windber, and I don't envy anybody there.
I do want to say about Juniata Valley this year, they've had a very balanced attack. That Jet Rand has been a good quarterback. He's got over 1,000 yards passing. Andrew Clark has over 1,000 yards rushing. And that's not something you usually see out of Juniata Valley. Usually they're run heavy, and they can throw the ball with anybody. They've had some big pass plays like deep plays that have stretched the offense and has made it easier on Clark, and then Rand can run some out of the pocket. He's a mobile quarterback. Juniata Valley has really turned it around this year, where they've gone from a team that made the playoffs to a contender.
If you look at it, they lost their first game of the season to Newport, so they're 7-1 in their last 8 games.
Mm-hmm.
And real quick, Windber, did they play Conway Township during the season? So would this be if you said they're probably going to play Conway Township in the playoffs?
They probably played. I'm not quite sure what they did.
Just curious about that. Our next game is a game, and as much as I love our newspaper and promote it because we'll have it covered, this game's on TV. So check your local listings. I'm not going to do your homework for you. McCort-Carroll 9-0 versus BG 8-1. The game's at St. Francis Friday night for the Laurel Highlands Athletic Conference Championship. Last year, this was the game that Penn, Cambria, BG was in. McCort-Carroll, I mean, last week, I'll let you tell that score because you and I were in here last week. Dan was in here.
Yeah.
That was like a basketball game. But tell everybody from the BG audience out there about McCort-Carroll.
Yeah, McCort-Carroll, I think, was losing for most of the game, and then they
with 4 stills.
And then put up 73
47, I think.
Sounds right.
That's remarkable. I mean, I think Coach Smith, they came into this season with high expectations. They only lost 2 seniors from last year's team. They had a lot of talent coming back. They had some talent coming in, and I think that people expected them to be among the contenders in 2A. I don't know that people expected them to be in the Laurel Highlands Conference Championship game. And I bet in the paper this week that there's at least a few people who picked McCort-Carroll to beat BG. So I think that there's actually going to be some, especially putting up, they put 73 points up on Four Stills. This was not the sister of the poor.
Yeah, BG, which is a big school in the Tyrone area. Just ask Coach. But BG lost what? They put 24 up on Four Stills or 28. That was just a couple weeks ago. Yeah. Didn't they put some points up on
28.
Richland? Yeah, they put some points up on Richland.
BG lost to Richland. McCort beat Richland. Scoring. Yes, they have Bentley Bainey at quarterback. John Delia, I'm not quite sure how his name's pronounced, a running back. And they have some great, they have a Rodriguez kid that's a lineman that's very good for them. And they just have been really good in all aspects of the game this year. And it'll be interesting to see, I think I had in the stats this week that BG has not lost to Bishop McCort since 2012. And that's a rivalry. And so this is their best shot at BG, and they're going to be fired up for it.
And I would think, too, if anybody would not be afraid or intimidated, it would be, you saw Bishop Gilbert, I think, at least once this year.
Yeah, I saw in week 1. Yeah.
I would not think they would be intimidated by any, maybe unless they're playing like Governor Mifflin or Roman Catholic out of Philadelphia. But
I was going to say, I would think it would be the other way around when it comes to BG, but no, I don't think anybody should be intimidated in either direction. And I'm not sure where that came from with McCort when we just started to expect them to win every week, but it happened very quick with McCord, and it's pretty cool to see them winning as much as they do.
Will this game have any say in the fun? Like if BG would lose, is that going to hurt?
BG's still going to be the top seed in
all the
1A.
points they got,
yeah, top seed, and McCort is probably still going to be the number 1 seed in 2A. They they're up there pretty high now. Richland does only have 1 loss. Now Richland has a tough game this week too, so we'll see. But it could impact McCord. It's not going to impact BG as far as seeding go. And just to clean up something from earlier, Windber did not play Kah'Mani Township this year, and they're coming off a loss to
Northern Bedford.
Yeah.
Friend of the show, Gary Black. Good job. They won 2 in a row, I believe. But
yeah,
good for them. Our next game we're going to look at, which they're probably a chance they're going to be playing twice within the next 3 weeks. DuBois 6-3 at Hollidaysburg 9-0. The Tigers, which now should be called the Juggernaut. If anybody's a comic book thing, there's a Juggernaut character. I don't follow comic books, but what DuBois has a really good quarterback, from what I understand.
Yep, he's been there for a while. He's a senior. He's got their school record, I believe, in passing yards. He's been really good, and DuBois played Hollidaysburg tough in one of these games last year.
I think the first one.
With him at quarterback. So, right now in the regional, Hollidaysburg is the number 1 seed and DuBois is the number 2 seed. So this could be a preview of the regional championship game between District 6, 8, 9, and 10. And this might not be the last time these teams are playing each other. But when I did talk to Homer this week, he said it's very important to Hollidaysburg to finish the season undefeated because these kids came into the year with a goal, and that was one of the goals that they had. So this team's going to be still focused, even though win or lose, they're still going to be the top seed in the region.
And one of my inside Hollidaysburg sources told me that Erie Cathedral Prep is 3, and they're now like normal. They're not what they used to be. And it's supposedly if Mifflin County wins Friday night, Mifflin County would finish 5-5, and they would be the 4 seed because Mifflin County has a rule they do not play in the playoffs unless they are 500 or better. Hollidaysburg does not want to have a bye week. I was told they want to play a game there. But what I want to ask you for your question is, and when you're 9-0, what are they doing in practice? The week of. I mean, is it solely focusing on DuBois, or is there other things?
Yeah, and I think they should be just solely focused on DuBois. Just keep doing what you've been doing all season. Because it's working.
Is it easing up though? Because it is your week, whatever it is.
I would hope
week
not.
10.
I would hope.
But I mean, I would think because you don't want kids getting hurt, and they have plans that they're looking at. Hey, we could play this Roman Catholic again. Yeah. And don't you want? I mean, you don't do all that hitting, do you? You played it, so
I didn't really do a whole lot of hitting at all during the week. So that all our hitting came on Friday night. Basically, quick side note: I did cover that kid in Little League, the DuBois quarterback, and he's the coach's son.
I was going to ask you that, and he's like going on a baseball scholarship too.
He was a really good baseball player. I know in his day. So it wouldn't surprise me if he is.
In our other game here, this is a game where I wish. I mean, there's a lot of games that I think are good enough. I'd love the same person. Penn Cambria 8-1 at Clearfield 6-3. Clearfield lost to BG last week, but they were leading going into the fourth quarter. Clearfield could give Penn Cambria a really good game in this, I think.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what happens here because Clearfield is a tough physical team. They obviously lost last week, but they played against BG, who has been playing as well as anybody ever since they got things figured out. Offensively, recovering from Torian Consiglio being out for the season and readjusting to who they were. But Penn Cambria has gotten, contributions from so many different players. Corbin Vinglish has had a great year. There'll be days where Blake Lilly just dominates and returns a punt for a touchdown that changes the game. Then you have Brady Jones, who's been the quarterback, but sometimes he'll switch to running back and they'll bring in Evan Latterner, who will be able to throw the ball down the field and still hand off to Jones. And then I saw Latner go for an 89-yard run against Tyrone, so he can run the ball out of the pocket too. So he's a dual threat guy. They have so many good athletes on that team, and including Grant Guides, who I think he had 2 interceptions against Tyrone. They just have a really good secondary, and I'll be interested to see how they do against a big physical back like Colton Ryan for Clearfield.
Is 6-3 a down year for Clearfield?
It kind of is.
Yeah, tell people, because you're up in that area. You know the Juniata family that's involved with that program.
Yeah, sure. Well, was part. Yeah, Tim's retired now. Tim's retired now. Yeah, Miles took over. Miles was a friend with Andrew at Pitt. So, but yeah, I was telling somebody just like about a week or two or so ago that this is kind of a down year for Clearfield standards. But having said that, I don't know if they've quite played the competition back when they were just in the Mountain League that they do in the Laurel Highlands now. But it's not exactly what Clearfield wants or anything, but it's still, for a down year. I mean, 6-3 isn't anything to hang your head over. They're still playing really well.
Is Clearfield 4A?
I believe 4A. Yeah.
Yes, because yes.
I was trying to think who they played in place, because down here in 4A, I think Juniata High School is the big 4A team. Bellefonte's 4A, Johnstown. Clearfield could win down here, I think. Is 4A tough up there?
4A, yeah. I know they're going to play Punxsy, I'm pretty sure, in District 9.
Punksy's having a good year.
Punksy's pretty good. Yeah.
Our next game here, Everett 6-3, at Claysburg-Kimmel 7-2. Everett, I think, has lost a couple in a row here. But tell us about what Claysburg-Kimmel has to look forward to.
Well, they have lost a couple in a row, but last year, if you remember, Everett was not having a good season. Claysburg had just clinched the ICC North the week before, goes into this game and got absolutely crushed by Everett. And that game,
payback.
That game has, when I talked to Coach Kasich today, he said that game has been in their minds for 365 days. And they remember that they went into that game and they were not ready to go. They lost that game. Jacoby Harmon ran all over the place, and he is still having a great season. He's around 2,000 yards rushing for the year. It's among the top rushers in Pennsylvania. And this is an Everett team that is still in the hunt for the top seed in District 5 2A. Right now, Tussey Mountain has overtaken them for the first seed, but they're the number 2 seed right now, and they could still move up past Tussey. So this is a huge game for both teams, because right now Claysburg is the number 3 seed in District 6 1A. And as we talked about before with Juniata Valley, you want to be in that 2-3 zone right now, because that way you're not seeing a potential BG until the district championship game. And that's
if Juniata Valley loses this week to Windber, and Claysburg can sneak out of them, and they'll be 2.
That's right. If Valley,
you guys write this down. Write this down.
So there's, and then Claysburg has a chance to host up until the championship game if they win this game.
And
so
you saw them last week, Claysburg, right?
I saw them a couple weeks ago.
I saw them 2 weeks ago. Yeah.
Who had them with Mount? Wasn't that the Mount Union game last week?
They played.
Nate Ritchie was at that one. I'm sure. How much of those? Did I cut you off? How much do coaches in high school play up that? Do you remember what they did to us last year? Like, he's talking about it.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And Kasich's telling him that. Are kids remembering that?
When Coach Kasich tells Mike that they've been thinking about it for 365 days, I totally believe him on that. But the good thing for Claysburg is they're rolling pretty much just as well as anybody right now.
Mason Campagna. Campagna is Italian, I think, for can do anything.
Yeah, and Coach Kasich said he needed to double check, but he was pretty sure that Mason is actually going to pass, or has maybe already passed, to have the most passing yards in Claysburg history.
See, that's another good game that I wish somebody could put that on the radio. But anyways, we're going to do our quick hit segment now. Forest Hills 6-3 at Bellwood Annis 5-4. Bellwood Annis needs to win this game, huh?
Well, it's important, but I will say that a big game, a big result that many people might not have paid attention to last week, Central upset Bald Eagle area, and that basically clinched Bellwood's playoff position. So Bellwood will be in the playoffs. That was something that they were still having to worry about going into that. But Bald Eagle losing to Central last week got them in. But the question is will they be the 6th seed, the 7th seed, or the 8th seed? And if you're the 7 or 8, which they're at 7 right now, you're looking at either playing McCort-Carroll or Richland, and that's a tough first round game. There's an outside chance if Mount Union would lose this week. They play Myersdale, which is a tough game. So, Mount Union loses and Bellwood wins and gets enough power points and teams they beat win to give them 10 extra points. Like they could move up to 6, which would be very beneficial for them. But, it's either way, they're going to be tough. But if you lose this game, then you're looking at definitely McCort or Richland. So
in the first round,
and this is a great, game to get ready for that though too, because the Forest Hills is a team that is on not the level of those teams, but it's getting you ready for that. And we'll see how Bellwood's offense does. I mean, McCort-Carroll just put up 73 points against Forest Hills, so
it's just unbelievable. Look at the amount of games that we're going to be in the newsroom here Friday night, following stuff on the radio and the internet and what have you.
5 teams in AA. 5 teams in AA are 8-1 or better right now. I feel like we've been hitting on that for 2 or 3 weeks right now, but it's kind of crazy that one of those teams, 8-1, they're going to be playing on the road the first week. That's just kind of mind blowing.
Well, good segue there, Andrew, because next game Mike has for us is Richland 8-1 and Huntingdon 7-2. Does this game, if Richland would lose this game, does that affect there?
It can definitely affect.
How about Huntingdon? 8-3.
Now Huntingdon is they're in it there with Forest Hills. I mean, say Forest Hills wins and Huntingdon loses. I mean, they could still switch. They could still switch spots. Huntingdon could still drop down to 3, and then they're going on the road to Forest Hills. Right now, Forest Hills and Huntingdon are matched up, but the points are so close in 3A. I don't really want to touch that because so many different teams, so many different scenarios could happen there. I believe there's even a scenario where Tyrone could jump up to 3 if they get enough points from beating Chestnut Ridge, and then the teams that they beat win. So it's still a toss up there. But Richland Huntingdon, that is an interesting game between a team we thought would be here and be in an impressive situation, and a team that, wow, you go from winless to 7-2.
Coach Luca, coaching you, not to win it. Just don't want to jinx it or anything. Yeah. How about at this time of the year too, that you're trying to keep people healthy for the playoffs?
Yeah,
but you can't this week because you might not get to the playoffs. I can't imagine a high school coach having to deal with that.
In Huntington case, I would think they would be a little bit more cautious on that side because they're in the playoffs no matter what. But
you could show off, maybe impress Penn, Cambria, or Forest Hills by beating a Richland.
Yeah.
Our last game we're going to look at, it's a tough luck game here. Carlisle 0-9 at Altoona 2-7. You got to think the Altoona kids feel good because this is. Do we know if this is their last game yet, or do we not know?
Coach Niedermeyer said they would decide after this game on whether they were going to enter the playoffs.
Because it's just them in State College if they choose to be in it.
Choose to enter, it would just be
has Carlisle have they been down for quite a while now, haven't they?
They have been, but Carlisle's actually 4-2 against Altoona since Altoona got back into the mid-10. And I can't tell you what Carlisle did last week against Carlisle because they did not play.
If you're a fan of the show, you know what we're joking about there. But then you have to go back and watch the episodes on YouTube. But anyway,
they actually got hammered by State College last week. It's not. I mean, you can't really beat around the bush. They're not a great football team. But, Altoona can't go into the game thinking that. Yeah. Like, they need to be up for this game. They need to treat – I would assume that Altoona's treating this like, hey, this is a playoff game. We have to win this game to get to –
maybe the powers that be will let us go. Because I bet you if you ask the kids, maybe some of them might not want to – maybe there's a lot of kids that want to play State College again and say, "Hey, I want to." Who's the 2 kids that you?
When I did a story on Logan Vukovic and Tykeer Davis, they both think that they can beat State College. They believe they can beat State College, and I guarantee both those kids they want another shot.
Have you ever been on a team that was 0-9 going into its last game?
Yeah, a couple times. It's not fun.
Yeah, like what's going through kids' mind? What was going through your did you think, oh God, another game? Or were you like, come on, we could win our last game?
0-9. I won't beat around the bush either. It's not fun. It sucks. It is the worst. And you definitely want to get a win in the last game if you can. But at the same time, you're probably thinking to yourself, I can't wait for this week to be.
You can't wait for wrestling to start for you.
That's basically what it was. Yeah.
Anyways, okay. Now we're going to go to the fun portion of our show here. We're going to start with Andy's line of the week first. Go ahead, Andrew.
Short steps. Short steps are better than long steps.
Well, I was telling you guys just a little while ago that Claysburg's rolling better than anybody right now. And if you look at their game last week, you look at their box score, you would see why, because it's a 51-28 win over Mount Union. And I was saying just a week or two on this show that Mount Union probably has the best athlete I've seen so far this year in Nasir Collins. And they put up 51 points. And how about this? 442 rushing yards and 600 yards of total offense. Just crazy numbers, video game-like numbers. So Coach Kasich, he tells me they do a rotation, for line. And I also asked him about tight ends, and he said, "What is a tight end?" So very good. So the rotation is Landon Woods, Mitchell Dodson, Dustin Slowick, Jordan Talaski, Colton Replogle, Corey Walter, Paul Kenneth Strayer, and Trenton Musselman. Good luck to those guys.
Slowick kid, isn't he a baseball player? Isn't he a pitcher?
And his dad's an umpire.
Yeah, but how about the fact the kid's a lineman and he's a good pitcher? I think that's cool. I would think wide receivers are good, but that's because I think of Jeff Samardzija. Go look that name up.
Yeah.
Now we got Mike's. I'm interested to see what Mike comes up with this week. Mike's stat of the week.
Okay, for this week, it's pretty simple. It's just so we talked about the ICC North and the tiebreaker there. Claysburg got the tiebreaker by scoring enough points, point differential. In the Heritage Conference, we're faced with that same situation this week. There's a three-way tie going into this week, and if River Valley, Cambria Heights, and Marion Center all win, it's simple. They all share it there. It's a three-way Heritage Conference championship. They share the crown. However, if one of them loses, things become a little bit more complicated. Obviously, if Marion Center would lose to Penn's Manor and River Valley wins and Cambria Heights wins, Cambria Heights would be the champion because they won a head-to-head against River Valley. Now, here's where it gets really interesting.
Pay attention. Yeah.
If Northern Cambria beats River Valley, and then Cambria Heights beats West Shamokin, and Marion Center beats Penn's Manor, Marion Center would be the Heritage Conference champion over Cambria Heights. And Northern Cambria would be the ones that did that to them, their rival. So Northern Cambria has a chance to hurt their rival this week without even playing them.
There will be a quiz at the beginning of next week's show. So make sure you're paying attention. And real quick, just because while you were saying that, Friday night, anybody thought Mount Union or Claysburg-Kimmel was running up. Didn't Claysburg-Kimmel have to score so many points?
Yeah, they had to win by 19 points.
Yeah, so if you wonder why, is Claysburg trying to score at the end? They're trying to score because they're trying to follow the rules. So, I mean, just in case there's even if there's one person out there that thought that, I don't think they should think that because that's what they were trying to do.
Some schools weren't aware that they had to run up the score last year in the ICC North. I don't know what they maybe they don't do math up in Houtzdale.
Yeah,
I can tell you that.
Chevy Chase used to sit there and say, "I understand there would be no math."
I wanna know what's the name of the game.
Anyways, now my fun part I like to do. I was looking for some names before we filmed here. I came up with these two names. Dan will spell them for you across screen. From Central Dauphin High School, and I hope I'm pronouncing this right. I sound like Andrew, right? Kah'Mani Garcia. K-A-H and then a little plus Mani and then Garcia. He's a linebacker, running back at Central Dauphin. And then locally here, I found a kid from Huntingdon. I just like the look of it, and I like the sound. Jackson, Jaxon Sequin. 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 I hope it's pronounced that way. That's how I would spell it. He's an offensive lineman, defensive lineman. So if you're going to make fun of his name, he'll probably kick your butt because he's an offensive lineman. The Jackson Sequin. I just like the sound of it and the look of it. And Kah'Mani Garcia, I just think that's a
not bad.
Cool name. But that's going to do it for week 10. Next time we see you, I guess we'll be talking about first round of playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not above getting another helmet. Somebody wants
Sure.
to give us I still think that Central Cambria, if I had to predict between Tyrone, Altoona, Central Cambria would give us a helmet before the other.
That'd be all right.
That would be my guess. But anyways, we'll have to find out. We'll see. That's going to do it for Dan Eisberg over there behind the camera. For Mike Boytim, for Andy Stine, I'm Scott Franca. Take care, and we'll talk to you next week.